Written and read by Rich Greenwood.
I always wanted to be the hero, didn't I? Remember that day we spent in Krakow, drowning in Polish beer when I was telling you all about my hero fantasy? It was a Tuesday, our second day there. I told you how I wanted to run into a burning house or something, to rescue a kid trapped by the flames engulfing it. I told you how the kid's parents would be screaming on the lawn outside for somebody, anybody, to save their baby. Somebody else would be screaming for everyone just to get back, get back. I told you how I'd look at you. My eyes would whisper that this was the only thing I'd been put on this earth to do, and yours would plead me not to go. I'd kiss you then, like we were in some naff movie, and I'd run off and disappear into the flames, leaving you surrounded by a wailing crowd. I told you they'd all ask you who I was, but all you'd be able to do was try and hide your face from the horror and the flames that were reflecting in your tears. I told you how the windows would shatter, spitting out hot glass, and the walls would hiss from the intense heat. You'd wait and wait and hope and wait. I told you that the house would eat itself and start to die. Angry swarms of sparks would fight with clouds of smoke as each flaming beam collapsed into its melting core. From out of the violence, I told you a smoking shape would emerge, carrying a bundle. There would be gasps, and the crowd would unwrap the kid from the bundle, and the shape would become me. I told you your heart would soar and then fall as you'd watch me collapse on the grass with liquid skin and flames for hair. It wouldn't matter though. I'd be the hero on the grass, with choked lungs that were swelling with pride that there was still one more human left in the world because of me. I was so alive when I told you all of this. I know you love to see me like that. You'd do that thing with your mouth, that smile like you were holding half of it back. You rolled your eyes at me though, like you always did, and you said I was such a knob, like you always did. But that was one of our little games, one of our little pantomimes that were the threads that held the fabric of our love together. I never got to be that hero for you though. Our fabric, pulled taut and frayed now, no more than threadbare. It was a Tuesday back in Krakow when I told you all of this, and it was a Tuesday when the train obliterated your future out of mine. It always seems to be a Tuesday. If only I'd sorted my holiday stuff out sooner like you'd nagged me to, I wouldn't have needed that day off, and we'd have gone to work together like we always did. If only that train wasn't late. Our midwife would still have called you, but I would have been your eyes and ears at that foot crossing when you got the news. I just wasn't there to protect you, and all I've been doing since that Tuesday is replaying the zillion decisions that led up to it over and over. Examining the finest nano details, all the what-ifs and maybes, every possible convolution to try and manufacture a different version of events, one where I get to wake up with you still. For you, though, it'd be a Tuesday morning forever. Instead, I make the journey to work on my own now, haunted by the lives that could have been. Every day I watch the same people on the platform that we used to, still think of the same little soap operas we created for them. They're made-up characters built around the shells of the real people whose lives and backstories we imagined for them. The Scottish one got to have her baby, you know. A little boy, I heard her say, like ours should have been. They got me a therapist. She said I should try and talk to people, and I did for a while. But no one wants to talk anymore, so I stopped going. It's as if everyone knows what happened and are afraid to look at me, so they don't. People in work even ignore me like I'm not there. I guess it must be hard for them too. I just sit and stare out the windows most days now, imagine grey faces in the clouds. Sometimes I see you. I come here to talk instead, to your graves. It's the only place that's warm anymore. It's a Tuesday again today. It's been 5 years since you both died. 5 long years. The colours that once painted my world are now drip-dried and faded, litmus blue. I've been so sad, babe. I wish I could see you roll your eyes at me once more. I wish you could call me a knob once more.
Hey, handsome.
It's the first time he's heard her voice since she left the house that morning, and there's a warmth on the back of his neck like someone has just switched on the sun. He turns around and there she is, wearing her smile. His mouth says "oh," but no sounds come out. He just stares at the face in front of him.
It's time to come with us now, Joe.
There's serenity and reassurance in her voice. His eyes get wet. She rolls her eyes then and reaches up to smooth the tears that have begun to fall from his. How are you here? I don't... The lips he's ached to feel on his take up his mouth then, and the questions fall away. She takes his hand and leads him away from the two wooden crosses.
Come on, let's go, babe. You don't have to be sad anymore. Everything's ready for you now. No more waiting, I promise.
Waiting? Waiting for what? She's practiced this moment for years, but she knew it was never going to be easy when she came to collect him.
Well, think of a hotel room. But you've arrived before check-in and they would say, your room's not ready yet, sir. And you'd have to wait in the bar or wander around town until it is. That's what you've been doing, Joe. You arrived too early and you've had to wander around and wait for your room to be ready.
Arrived too early? What room? I haven't got a room.
Everyone has their time to arrive, Joe. Everyone has a room. This hotel already knows when, and it was my time to arrive that day on the crossing. They were ready for me then, but they just weren't ready for you when you arrived. Look, I know you haven't booked a room, Joe, and I know you'll be confused, but deep down, I think you know what I'm saying, don't you?
You're saying about rooms and arriving early, but I haven't booked any room. I don't know what you mean.
I mean, you arrived early. 4 years ago, when you jumped in front of that train to follow us.
He stopped then and turned to look at her. As he saw the reflection of his jaw hanging loose in the truth of her glassy eyes, he knew. Deep down, he'd always known. His sobs told her he was sorry. Her hug told him there was no need.
You're such a knob, aren't you?
He smiled and nodded at the words he loved to hear almost as much as he loved her.
I promise everything will be okay. I'll be with you all the way now. I'm just glad you get to come see at last.
She took his hand again and led him out of the graveyard and along the path. He had more questions than he could process at once, but the one that spoke was, "Come see what?"
Our little boy. He's waiting for you over there on the swings, look. Can't wait to meet you.
As they walked, his smile followed her outstretched arm. He looked down the lane to the park across the road and into their future, where a boy who looked just like his dad was laughing on a swing and waving like he was high-fiving the sun.